Chapter 1553. 3 breaths later, Elder Shing suddenly turned around and looked at his clansmen in the light screen. He roared furiously in a stern voice, "Without my orders, if anyone dares to take half a step out of the light screen, there is no need for this bastard to kill you. This elder will take your lives." In the face of Elder Shing's anger, the Beast Kings kept quiet out of fear. Even without Elder Shing's orders, they wouldn't dare to step out. Even their clansmen who had just stepped into the immortal realm had died tragically. Wouldn't they be courting death if they went out? In the distant void, Yi Xian's body was covered in black fog. A large amount of blood was spurting out from his mouth and nose. The first heaven's gate behind him was rumbling and rotating. The second heaven's gate was also gradually materializing. Clearly, Yi Xian would be able to open the second heaven's gate soon. Phew. Yi Xian slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. The black fog around him retracted back into his body. He gave off a refreshing feeling. This immortal realm beast king is indeed a great tonic. Unfortunately, this bastard has just stepped into the immortal realm. If I could kill and devour some powerful immortal realm beast kings, it would be enough for me to open the second heaven's gate, Yi Xian murmured. However, Yi Xian also knew that he didn't have the chance. The reason he was able to hunt this king beast that had just entered the immortal realm was because this king beast was too arrogant and didn't know how powerful he, Yi Xian, was. Moreover, it wasn't possible to kill some powerful immortal realm beast kings in one strike. Therefore, Yi Xian temporarily gave up on this idea. He had to think of another way. How can I lure these beast kings out? Yi Xian rubbed his chin and pondered. He was gradually addicted to devouring. No cultivation could be faster than devouring these beast kings. It was because their bloodline cultivation was too pure. This was definitely a great tonic for Yi Xian. I got it. After 10 minutes, Yi Xian's eyes lit up. He had learned a spell in the Eldritch world. However, this spell was too useless. However, in this situation, this secret spell might be effective. The demonic sound pierced his ears. This was the name of the spell, and its function was very simple. It was to control the mind of the person who cast the spell. However, this kind of spell was only useful for people with weak cultivations. If it was used on people with higher cultivations, they would suffer a backlash from this spell. It could be said to be extremely useless, and the losses outweighed the gains. However, Yi Xian felt that this method was very suitable for luring out some king beasts. Yi Xian did as he said. He took a step forward and once again entered the ancestral land. What happened next directly brought about a calamity to these king beasts. Chanting sutras in the heavens, the demonic sound pierced his ears. Rolling demonic sounds came from the sky above the entire ancestral land. This demonic sound bewitched one's soul and controlled one's mind, and it only targeted the king beasts that were weaker than Yi Xian. This immediately caused the king beasts to become irritable and madly charge out of the light screen. "Come back, all of you, come back." Elder Shing's expression changed drastically. Numerous unparalleled great techniques swept out, wanting to pull his clansmen back. However, even if he had great divine abilities and great supernatural powers, he could not stop tens of thousands of king beasts running away by himself. Formation. The 10 immortal king beasts attacked, directly transforming into tens of thousands of starlight chains that bound the bewitched clansmen. Unfortunately, although they attacked very quickly, Yi Xian was even faster than them. Kill! The heaven-slaying halberd appeared in the starry sky. It was 10,000 miles long and it slashed at the beast kings with destructive power. The heaven-destroying halberd was terrifying. Even though the beast kings' bodies were terrifyingly strong, with Yi Xian's cultivation, the heaven-destroying halberd unleashed an unparalleled killing power. More than 10,000 beast kings were turned into a mist of blood. Devour! The profound mysteries of the Calamity Transcender technique and the heaven-devouring demonic art were displayed, and the entire starry sky turned into a black vortex. The blood energy and cultivation of the dead beast kings swirled into the sky, turning into rivers of blood that were directly swallowed by the black vortex. "You're courting death." Elder Shing attacked and shattered the black vortex with a palm. However, Yi Xian had already swallowed all the blood and cultivation. He had already used the calamity transformation and disappeared without a trace. Despicable human, despicable human. Elder Xing roared angrily. The 10 immortal king beasts were also filled with hostility. They had the ability to not use it, and were completely led by the nose by Yi Xian. This feeling of shame and indignation caused them to hate Yi Xian to the extreme. On the other side, Yi Xian had successfully killed tens of thousands of beast kings. Although they were weak, the blood and cultivation they gathered together was extremely powerful. Yi Xian was sitting cross-legged in the void to refine this cultivation. The second heavenly gate behind him was almost completed. Open for me. 1,000 years later, Yi Xian abruptly opened his eyes. The second heaven gate behind him condensed with a loud bang and began to revolve behind him in a terrifying manner. Moreover, this wasn't the end. A magnificent and grand phenomenon accompanied it. Rumble. The 12 chaotic worlds appeared on their own. The second world shone brightly and directly merged with Yi Xian's second heavenly gate. In the next moment, Yi Xian's aura skyrocketed. The second heavenly gate dropped down a wisp of the mysteries of samsara and directly merged with Yi Xian's head. It was also at this time that Yi Xian's forehead flashed violently. The mysterious symbol hidden in his sea of consciousness reappeared. This time, the mysterious symbol's appearance brought with it terrifying fluctuations. Yi Xian fell into an indescribable realm. Rumble. The 12 chaotic worlds dissipated. Yi Xian was lying in the starry sky. He was enveloped by an extremely mysterious aura. The mysterious symbol on his forehead was pulsating violently. After a long time, Yi Xian suddenly opened his eyes. The mysterious symbol on his forehead disappeared again. A terrifying and majestic aura erupted from Yi Xian's body. After opening the second heavenly gate, he was even stronger. The second move of the eternal reincarnation fist? Yi Xian lifted his fists in a daze. A mysterious radiance flickered on his fists. He had just opened the second heavenly gate and obtained the second move of the eternal reincarnation fist. Yi Xian never expected that the eternal reincarnation fist would have a second move. If this was the case, would he obtain the third move of the eternal reincarnation fist after opening the third heavenly gate? Thinking of this possibility, Yi Xian's face flushed red. He was extremely excited. He had already experienced how powerful the eternal reincarnation fist was. The second move would definitely be stronger than the first move. If he could open all 12 heavenly gates, would he be able to learn the complete eternal reincarnation fist? The 12 moves of the eternal reincarnation fist are compatible with the 12 periods of the chaotic universe. I'm afraid this set of eternal reincarnation fist isn't that simple. Yi Xian muttered to himself. Boom. Just as Yi Xian was deep in thought, an abnormal fluctuation woke him up. He sensed that there were people outside the Star Road heading towards the ancestral land of the space beasts. One of the auras belonged to the Beast King. On the other hand, the aura on the other side was uncertain. Even Yi Xian couldn't sense the other party's cultivation. The strongest throughout the ages? In the next moment, Yi Xian was shocked. His soul was extremely powerful. Although his cultivation wasn't as strong as the Beast King, who was half a step away from being able to sense his cultivation, he could only be in existence at the level of the strongest throughout the ages. Chapter 1554. Did he invite the strongest of all time? Yi Xian regained his composure after the initial shock. He wasn't afraid even if the strongest of all time came because he believed in the heaven calamity transformation. Even the strongest of all time wouldn't be able to find him. However, Yi Xian was a little confused. Which of the 10 strongest of all time did the Beast King invite? These thoughts flashed through his mind. Yi Xian patiently waited for the arrival of the Beast King and the strongest of all time. He also wanted to see how the strongest of all time was related to the giant beasts of space. It's her! When the two figures arrived at the end of the Star Road, Yi Xian's eyes flashed. He immediately recognized who it was. The Master of Human Tao. The Master of Human Tao, the one who achieved Tao during the 5th period. She was also one of the 2 female strongest of the 10 strongest. However, the master of human Tao didn't have much of a presence among the 10 strongest. Almost everyone could ignore her. Even Yi Xian didn't expect that the Beast King would invite the master of human Tao. The chaotic universe, the 12 periods. The master of human Tao was the one who achieved Tao during the 5th period. She created the boundless secular world technique. Its strongest power was also known as the power of karma. Today's karma would be reaped in the future. Everything in the universe was connected to karma. The so-called power of karma was also very mysterious. The master of human Tao didn't achieve Tao early, but she definitely wasn't late. She was a very low-profile person among the 10 strongest. Moreover, she was a woman. Yi Xian, you son of a bitch. Let's see where you can run to today. The Beast King had just returned to his ancestral land when he saw the corpses of his clansmen. He roared with hatred and was extremely furious. Heavenly Master, I'll have to trouble you. The Beast King quickly regained his composure and bowed to the master of human Tao. His posture was neither arrogant nor humble. He didn't show any signs of inferiority just because the master of human Tao was the strongest of all time. All right. The master of human Tao nodded slightly. She was very beautiful. Her beauty was dignified and elegant. She gave off an indescribable feeling of a goddess. Although she gave off a gentle feeling, the Beast King didn't dare to look at her directly. Suppress. The master of human Tao wore a pink dress, and the power of karma was like a vast ocean. With a flip of her slender hand, she immediately covered the entire ancestral land of the cosmic beasts. Strands of mysterious power of karma intertwined, creating a red glow that filled the sky. Yi Xian's expression changed slightly. Although he believed in the heaven-smiting transformation, it was still an attack from one of the strongest of the ages. As a result, Yi Xian pushed the heaven-smiting transformation to its limits. Not a single bit of aura leaked out from his body, nor was there any trace of him visible. Yi Xian was extremely nervous under the cover of the karmic power that filled the sky. He could feel his heart beating faster and faster. He was deeply afraid that the master of human Tao would be able to break through his calamity transformation. Time passed bit by bit. Yi Xian's nervous mood gradually calmed down. This was because his heaven calamity transformation was indeed extremely powerful. Even under the cover of the power of karma, it was impossible to break through his great taboo technique. Yi Xian finally let go of the stone that had been hanging in his heart. The corners of his mouth curled into a smug smile. He was smug not because the master of human Tao couldn't break through his calamity transformation. It was because the heaven calamity transformation could indeed fool one of the strongest of the ages. This was Yi Xian's greatest life-saving trump card. Suddenly, Yi Xian's heart skipped a beat. This was because the master of human Tao's gaze had quietly landed on him. Then, she calmly looked in another direction. Although it was only for an instant and seemed to be unintentional, Yi Xian was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat. Impossible. Although she's an absolute expert, the heaven calamity transformation is a great taboo technique. It's said that even the strongest of the ages couldn't break through it. She's probably just looking for me. Yi Xian muttered in his heart. However, the look from the master of human Tao just now still made him feel uneasy. He felt that there was definitely more to it than met the eye. Heaven Master? Half a day had passed, but the Beast King still hadn't seen any trace of Yi Xian. This caused the Beast King's originally excited expression to gradually turn serious. Could it be that even the strongest of the ages couldn't find this human? Boom! The master of human Tao waved her jade-like hand, and the power of karma that filled the sky dissipated. She slowly shook her head and said, "I'm very sorry. I can't find this person either. Either his escape technique is taboo, or he has already left this place." Left? The Beast King was stunned. He gritted his teeth so hard that they creaked. A pair of ferocious eyes surged with a terrifying aura. If Yi Xian had really left, he would sooner or later become a disaster for the giant beasts of space. Yi Xian, I'm an absolute expert here. If you have the ability, come out for me and continue to kill my people. Otherwise, you're nothing more than a stray dog. The Beast King shouted. Although it was beneath his status, before he could confirm whether Yi Xian had really left, this was the only way he could go about it. Gee! Just as the Beast King finished speaking, a murderous halberd light suddenly split a Beast King in half. When this scene appeared, the Beast King's eyes instantly turned red. Chapter 1555. The strongest of all. These were very serious words. Yi Xian wasn't so arrogant as to kill people in front of the strongest of all. Although he had the Heaven Calamity transformation, he still had to be careful. Yi Xian blocked the star path that led to the outside world. He didn't believe that the Master of Human Tao would stay in the giant beasts of the starry sky forever. Once the Master of Human Tao left, he would continue his killing spree. Yi Xian blocked the star path and began to cultivate. He had just opened the second gate of heaven, so he needed to stabilize his cultivation. Besides, he also needed to comprehend the second form of the eternal reincarnation fist. 7 days later, the star path was resplendent and silent. Yi Xian was still immersed in the second form of the eternal reincarnation fist. He was constantly practicing this fist technique in his mind, so he didn't notice that a figure had quietly appeared behind him. Little brother Yi, your cultivation has improved again. Boom! When this sudden voice sounded out, it was as if a bolt of primal chaos had struck Yi Xian's body. His entire body shivered and he abruptly woke up from his cultivation. His entire body instantly disappeared as he looked towards the source of the voice with a horrified expression. Master of Human Tao. When the graceful and dignified face of the Master of Human Tao entered his eyes, Yi Xian's face turned extremely pale. His heart was in turmoil as a sense of impending doom enveloped him. He had been too careless. He had been too careless. The Master of Human Tao had already seen through his location. She hadn't just glanced at him casually. She had truly seen through his true body. Yi Xian was extremely shocked. He couldn't understand why the Heaven Calamity transformation had failed. Wasn't this forbidden technique undetectable even by the strongest of all? How did the Master of Human Tao discover him? A series of bewilderment flashed through Yi Xian's mind. He stared at the Master of Human Tao with extreme vigilance. His cultivation was raised to the peak and he was prepared to flee at any time. Of course, Yi Xian was well aware that his calamity transformation had lost its effect. There was no way he could escape the grasp of the Human Tao Master. This was a supreme expert of the ages, not some random fish or shrimp. Although there was a taboo realm above the Prime of Eons, as long as the Prime of Eons didn't appear, the Prime of Eons was invincible in the Chaosverse. That wasn't just a saying. It was an ironclad fact. You don't have to be nervous. If I wanted to harm you, I would have suppressed you the moment I arrived. I wouldn't have waited until now to see you. The Human Tao Master was graceful and dignified. Her voice was also very gentle. In Yi Xian's impression, he had met the Human Tao Master several times. She had always maintained a calm demeanor, as if nothing in the world mattered to her. Moreover, this female supreme expert's presence was extremely low, to the point that Yi Xian had almost forgotten about her. However, today, the Lord of Human Tao had broken through his calamity transformation, causing Yi Xian's opinion of the Lord of Human Tao to undergo a complete change. Strong, very strong, terrifyingly strong. Although Yi Xian couldn't sense the cultivation of the Human Tao Lord, there seemed to be a voice in the unseen world telling Yi Xian that the Human Tao Lord before him wasn't as weak as she appeared to be. She was definitely terrifyingly strong among the 10 supreme experts, ascending in the 5th period, and a female supreme expert at that. After the 10 periods, there were very few legends about the Human Tao Lord. 10 supreme experts. There was no need to talk about the chaos destiny time and space. The 3 of them could control the 3 winding rivers and were revered as the strongest 3. Next was the Undying Heaven Lord of the 4th period. This supreme expert was unparalleled in killing. She established the Undying Heaven Palace and shocked several periods. Even in the 10th period, her reputation didn't diminish. As the one who ascended in the 5th period, the Human Tao Temple of the Undying Heaven Lord was almost impossible to find in the primal chaos. Even her own deeds weren't spoken of. All the creatures in the primal chaos knew that she was the supreme expert of the fifth period. As for the other 5 supreme experts, they were the Extreme Devil Lord, the Extreme Emotion Lord, the Destruction Devil Lord, the Heaven-Devouring Devil Lord, and the Myriad Spirit Lord. Each of them had their own deeds that were spoken of by all the creatures in the primal chaos. However, compared to the Human Tao Lord who ascended earlier, their presence was extremely low. At this moment, in Yi Xian's eyes, this was definitely an extremely shocking and strange matter. How did you break my calamity transformation? Looking at the Human Tao Lord's faint aura, Yi Xian could feel that she didn't have any killing intent. This also caused him to ask the biggest question in his heart. The Human Tao Lord smiled gracefully and said, "Little brother Yi, do you know what supreme strength is?" Supreme strength? Yi Xian was startled. He then looked deeply at the Human Tao Lord and said, "Supreme strength is a cultivation method that you all cultivated before you ascended. This cultivation method is something that you all created. When you became supreme experts of all time and fused with the heavenly heart of chaos, this power would be refined to the extreme. That's why it's called supreme strength." The Human Tao Lord smiled and nodded when she heard Yi Xian's answer. Then she slowly shook her head and said, "You're only half right. Actually, supreme strength is only a power that's derived from fusing with the 3,000 grand Taos of the Chaosverse." Chapter 1556. I'm very curious. Since you owe the astral beasts a favor and have seen through my heaven calamity transformation, why didn't you come here to suppress me? Yi Xian looked up at the Human Tao Master. It's easy to return a favor, but it's hard to overcome an ultimate powerhouse. I came to see you because I want to ascend to the next level. Only you can help me. As for why I was able to see through your forbidden escape technique, it's actually related to you and my karma, the Human Tao Master said slowly. Yi Xian was stunned when he heard the Human Tao Master's words. He didn't quite understand what this ultimate powerhouse of all time was trying to say. You sowed karma in the past, and you reap what you sow today. Karma intertwines endlessly. Little brother Yi, although you haven't cultivated my karma, you've been tainted by my boundless secular technique many times before you became a saint. Even after you became a saint, your incarnation has been cultivating the boundless secular technique. As the saying goes, karma is connected. I'm the Human Tao Master, so I can also be called the Master of Karma. There's a thread of karma between us. Although you can't see it, I can see it. That's why I can find you. Your forbidden escape technique is useless against me, the Human Tao Master smiled. So that's how it is. Yi Xian was enlightened. It wasn't that the heaven calamity transformation was useless, but that he had karma with the Human Tao Master. That was why the Human Tao Master could find him. Even the heaven calamity transformation was useless. Yi Xian sighed in relief when he understood the crux of the matter. Fortunately, he didn't have any enmity with the Human Tao Master. Otherwise, if the Deathless Heaven Master had grasped the power of karma, he probably would have died at the hands of the Deathless Heaven Master. Yi Xian gradually calmed down. Since the Human Tao Master didn't have any ill intentions, he didn't have to worry about his safety for now. You said you wanted me to help you overcome your tribulation? You're the ultimate powerhouse of all time. Why do you need to overcome your tribulation? What can my cultivation help you with? As the saying went, one wouldn't wake up early if there were no benefits. Yi Xian also believed in this saying. There was no such thing as unconditional love or hatred in this world. The Human Tao Master had said so much to Yi Xian. Yi Xian didn't believe that she was just showing him kindness. Moreover, Yi Xian knew one thing. Since the Human Tao Master owed the space beasts a favor, logically speaking, she should have suppressed Yi Xian and handed him over to the space beasts. After all, she controlled the power of karma and placed great importance on karma, not chatting with him here. Chapter 1557. Since I am able to come here, I naturally have to repay the favor I owed you all those years ago. It's just that little brother Yi has a great karma with me, much greater than the favor I owe your tribe. What I can do is to resolve the grudge between you two. The Human Tao Master was very easygoing and did not get angry because of the Beast King's attitude. She appeared very calm, and it was rare for her to show her might. Perhaps outsiders would think that the human Tao master was very weak among the 10 strongest. However, in Yi Xian's eyes, the human Tao master was very scary. Not only was her cultivation terrifying, but under her calm and tranquil face, there was something that even Yi Xian's heart trembled. To put it crudely, a dog that bites does not bark. Yi Xian agreed with this sentence very much. In his eyes, although the Lord of Human Tao wasn't a dog, the attitude and bearing the other party displayed made Yi Xian very clear on one thing. This female supreme was very scary and the most mysterious among the 10 strongest. Yi Xian had a feeling that perhaps even the undying Heaven Lord and the heaven-devouring Demon Lord might not be her match. Of course, this was just Yi Xian's feeling. He had almost never seen the human Tao master in action. In those 2 battles between the strongest, her presence was also very weak. Her performance was neither strong nor weak. At that time, Yi Xian did not think too much about it. Only now that he thought about it, he suddenly realized that the human Tao master was a person who kept a lot of secrets. He must die. The Beast King growled. Even if the human Tao master was mediating, there was no room for negotiation. If it was any other matter, how could the Beast King not give face to the strongest? However, the grudge this time was too big. Yi Xian had killed so many of his tribesmen. This had almost damaged the vitality of the giant star beast tribe. If he did not take revenge, how could he answer to his tribesmen? Alright, since you are not willing to resolve this grudge, I will not force you. I will repay the favor I owe your tribe. However, I will not suppress little brother Yi. You may make your move. The human Tao master stood there indifferently. She did not choose to help the giant star beast tribe, nor would she help Yi Xian. This caused the Beast King to be stunned and hesitated. You want to kill me? Do you have the ability to do so? Yi Xian had mysteriously disappeared after the calamity transformation was performed. The Beast King's face was ashen and helpless. Even the hundreds of immortal realm Beast Kings who had gathered in the starry skies were feeling extremely aggrieved. Alright, I'll give the heavenly master face. From now on, the enmity between me and that Yi fellow is written off. A dozen breaths later, the Beast King raised his hand and bowed to the human Tao master. He had finally made a decision that made him feel humiliated and helpless. It wasn't that he didn't want to kill Yi Xian, but that he simply couldn't. If he continued to tangle with Yi Xian, the only ones who would suffer would be their starry sky behemoths. Unless they could find a way to break Yi Xian's heaven calamity transformation, Yi Xian was a ticking time bomb that could explode at any moment. It would also completely damage their vitality. Little brother Yi, aren't you going to come out and make peace with the Beast King? The human Tao master smiled calmly. Boom. Yi Xian appeared once again and similarly smiled as he cupped his hands towards the Beast King. The Beast King's eyes were gloomy and malicious as he hatefully flung his sleeves and left. However, his voice resounded in the starry sky. Yi fellow, from now on, my clan and you will stay out of each other's business. Today, I'll give the heavenly master face. I hope you'll behave yourself in the future. The Beast King left in a flustered and exasperated manner. The hundreds of immortal realm Beast Kings also glared hatefully at Yi Xian before dispersing. A great enmity between them had been resolved with just a few words from the human Tao master. This was very satisfying for Yi Xian. The only regret was that there was no news of this forbidden character. Ancestral Land, Starry Sky Temple. This was the training ground set up by the Beast King to receive the human Tao master. The entire Starry Sky Temple was resplendent and luxurious. Starlight flashed overhead, and one could see the entire starry sky when they looked up. Tribulation Transcendence Taboo? Yi Xian roared in shock. His eyes widened in horror. He suddenly stood up from his cross-legged position. He looked at the human Tao master with an indescribable look of shock. It was no wonder that Yi Xian was so shocked. The human Tao master had asked for his help. This was beyond his imagination, and it gave him a deeper understanding of the human Tao master's cultivation base. Looking at Yi Xian's shocked and speechless expression, the human Tao master smiled gently. Life and death are illusory and destructive. Karma engenders each other. From nothing to something, and from something to nothing. All things in the chaotic universe are connected by karma. As the human Tao Master, I control the power of the great Tao of karma. I have reached a bottleneck. You? Yi Xian was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Although he thought highly of the human Tao Master and thought that this woman was stronger than the undying Heaven Lord and the heaven-devouring Demon Lord, Yi Xian realized that he was gravely mistaken. The human Tao Master's tribulation was in the forbidden realm. What did this mean? It meant that she had reached the end of the path of the strongest throughout history. She was at the peak. This was something that Yi Xian didn't dare to imagine. Perhaps sensing Yi Xian's thoughts, the human Tao Master smiled gently. Everyone's cultivation method is different. Many of the other strongest cultivate their strength, but I cultivate my spirit. Perhaps my strength isn't as strong as theirs, but I should be ahead of them in terms of spirit. Although the human Tao Master spoke humbly, Yi Xian didn't think so. He was absolutely sure that the human Tao Master's cultivation base and spirit surpassed many of the other strongest. I'm curious. Even the chaos and destiny space-time couldn't find the forbidden realm. How did you find it? Yi Xian probed. The chaos and destiny space-time are the basic laws of the chaotic universe. Although the three strongest are strong, they are still shackled by the laws. The Tao of karma I cultivate can ignore some of the chaos laws. Therefore, I have reached the end of the path of the strongest and need to take a step into the forbidden realm. The human Tao Master smiled. How can I help you? Yi Xian asked the truest question in his heart. I need to borrow your body. The human Tao Master's beautiful face turned solemn. Impossible. Yi Xian's expression changed and he immediately refuted. What kind of joke was this? Borrow his body? Wasn't that the same as taking over his body? If he let the human Tao Master take over his body, given her cultivation base, she could destroy his soul in a matter of minutes. How could Yi Xian agree? Little brother Yi, don't misunderstand. Listen to me slowly. The human Tao Master said solemnly, in this chaotic universe, other than the forbidden characters, there are two other people who aren't controlled by the laws of the chaotic universe. One is you, and the other is your friend Lu Bai. The two of you are the two outliers of the chaotic universe. Yi Xian's expression darkened as he listened to the human Tao Master's explanation. His eyes were extremely deep, and it was impossible to tell what he was thinking. The human Tao Master took a deep look at Yi Xian and continued, your clone cultivates the boundless secular technique, and so does Lu Bai. Both of you have a great deal of karma with me. In truth, I value Lu Bai more, but he has a seal planted on him by a forbidden character. I can only take a step back and ask for your help. You think taking over my body is helping you? Yi Xian sneered. He didn't believe the human Tao Master's nonsense. It was impossible for him to borrow his body. I know you don't believe me, but I believe you'll agree. After saying this, the human Tao Master fell silent for 3 breaths of time. She looked at Yi Xian with her beautiful eyes and said, when I discovered the profound truths of reincarnation in your body, I knew that my only hope of overcoming the forbidden tribulation was with you. As long as I can borrow your body, the laws of the primal chaos won't be able to sense me. Moreover, the profound truths of reincarnation in your body will be of great help to me. Of course, this karma is great. Even if you cultivate my boundless secular technique and I want you to return the favor, it's far less important than helping me overcome my tribulation. Therefore, you can make any request. As long as it's within my power, I'll help you achieve it. Even if you want to kill the undying Heaven Lord, I'll do it for you. Chapter 1558. Boom. When these words fell into Yi Xian's ears, Yi Xian was shocked beyond words. He looked at the human Tao Master in shock and fear. This human Tao Master was terrifying to the extreme. Yi Xian didn't think that the Lord of Human Tao was bragging. Since the Lord of Human Tao dared to make a promise, then she definitely wasn't just talking about it. She really did have such a plan. Putting aside whether the human Tao Master could kill the undying Heaven Master, this sentence alone was enough to prove that she was much stronger than the undying Heaven Master. At this moment, Yi Xian was truly tempted. If the human Tao Master could help him kill the undying Heaven Master, it would be as good as helping him eliminate a great enemy. This temptation almost made Yi Xian nod his head in agreement. But in the next moment, Yi Xian quickly calmed down. No way. Yi Xian suppressed the restlessness in his heart and calmed down in an extremely short period of time. Although the promise of killing the undying Heaven Master was tempting, Yi Xian knew that he had something more important to do. And this matter was much more important than killing the undying Heaven Master. I can agree to it, but you have to help me wake Lu Bai up. Yi Xian stated his condition directly. This was also his truest wish. I can't save him. The human Tao Master shook her head slowly. She naturally knew about Lu Bai's situation. After all, Lu Bai also cultivated the boundless secular technique. There was karma between the two of them, so she naturally knew about Lu Bai's condition. Hearing the human Tao Master's reply, Yi Xian was slightly disappointed. But he also guessed that even though the human Tao Master was strong, it was impossible for her to save Lu Bai. If the three utmost powerful beings couldn't save him, and even the eternal shadow couldn't save him, then it was reasonable that the human Tao Master couldn't save him. Other than this matter, I can do anything for you. The human Tao Master said sincerely. All right, then I want you to help me find someone. Yi Xian's eyes were deep. He looked calmly at the human Tao Master, but a strange look flashed through his eyes. Who do you want me to find for you? Human Tao Lord was taken aback. He had not expected Yi Xian to make such a simple request. However, human Tao Lord quickly realized that the person Yi Xian was looking for was not that simple. This person is the ancestor of the Space Behemoth clan. I came here to look for this person. I don't think the Beast King will tell me anything about him. However, you are different. As long as you ask him, the Beast King will tell you about this person. Yi Xian did not mention that he was looking for a taboo character because he was afraid that the human Tao Master would not agree. This was also a trick that Yi Xian had left behind. It was said that women were very meticulous. Is there a problem? The Beast King's expression flickered. In the end, he sighed bitterly and said, I'm sorry, Heaven Lord. Even I have never seen my race's ancestor. Ever since the beginning of the primal chaos, there have always been legends about him. However, the Beast King has never seen him before. There are even rumors that he has died long ago. There is only a statue of him left in the Myriad Beast Divine Temple. If my race's ancestor really is still alive, why would I have asked you to come help me? My race's ancestor would have killed someone in his ancestral land long ago. How could he have suffered such humiliation? The Beast King looked at Yi Xian as he spoke. The hatred in his voice was extremely obvious. I see. The human Tao Lord's eyes flickered. She was suddenly extremely interested in the ancestor of the astral beasts. He was someone who had existed since the beginning of the primal chaos. Why had she never heard of this person's name even after 10 great yuans had passed? The human Tao Lord could sense that the Beast King was not lying. This made her look at Yi Xian. After all, it was Yi Xian who wanted to find this person. She had only summoned the Beast King to ask him. Yi Xian slowly opened his eyes. He already had some thoughts in his mind. Buzz. Yi Xian casually tossed out his astral compass. Under the illumination of the starlight, an ancient path of the stars appeared. When this ancient starry sky path appeared in the eyes of the Beast King's expression greatly changed. His eyes became extremely sharp, and his gaze towards Yi Xian was filled with bewilderment. Where did you obtain this path of stars? The Beast King's voice became fierce. An extremely terrifying aura of violence leaked out from him. If it weren't for the human Tao Lord's presence, he would have attacked Yi Xian and suppressed him long ago. Chapter 1559. It doesn't matter where I got this ancient road of stars. What's important is that you know about this ancient road of stars. I want to know if the person I'm looking for is at the end of this ancient road of stars. Or did he die at the end of this ancient road of stars? Yi Xian looked deeply at the Beast King. What's wrong with this ancient road of stars? The human Tao Master asked. Although she was an omnipotent, the chaotic universe was too big. There were too many secrets hidden in it. How could the human Tao Master know about this ancient road of stars? Phew! The Beast King forced himself to calm down. He took a deep look at Yi Xian, then adjusted himself for more than 10 breaths of time before calming himself down. Then he began to narrate an ancient legend about the space beasts, causing Yi Xian and the human Tao master to listen attentively. At the beginning of the chaotic universe, the giant beasts of stars were born. However, no one knew how the giant beasts of stars were born. According to the first Beast King, he was the king of the giant beasts of stars when he gained sentience. Moreover, he wasn't the first giant beast of stars. When he gained sentience, he discovered that there were countless giant beasts of stars around him. However, these giant beasts of stars didn't have sentience. They just wandered aimlessly in the starry universe. Then, a person appeared. This person was the ancestor of the giant beasts of stars. However, this person wasn't in the form of a beast but a human. However, the first Beast King could feel that this human gave him a sense of closeness. It was as if they were connected by blood. However, even though this human had taken the form of a human, his true form was also that of a giant beast of stars. This person was the ancestor of the giant beasts of stars. He was also the one who created the giant beasts of stars. This ancestor only told the first Beast King to pass down the bloodline. In the beginning of the chaotic universe, the Master of Chaos had yet to attain Tao. The first Yuan Hui had just begun. No one knew what happened to this ancestor, nor did they know who he fought. In the end, he died at the end of an ancient road of stars. The first-generation Beast King had once attempted to enter this star passage, but in the end, he had retreated. It was all because this star passage was too terrifying. It was not something he could withstand at all. It contained great terror that could completely take his life. And now, the ancestral land of the starry sky behemoths was built close to the ancient path of the starry sky where their ancestors had fallen. After 10 Yuan Hui, they had lived and prospered here for generations. It could be said that they were guarding the place where their ancestors had fallen. The statue in the All-Beast Temple was created by the first Beast King. Every time a new Beast King took over, the ancestor would come to pay respects. Chapter 1560. The human Tao master's beautiful eyes flickered. She knew that Yi Xian would not lie. There must be a huge problem. Then you mean? The human Tao master asked. This person must still be alive. Yi Xian smiled strangely and was extremely confident. Yi Xian was so sure because of the statue in the Myriad Beast Temple. If the statue only had some terrifying forbidden mark, the human Tao master would have sensed it. However, after the human Tao master entered, the forbidden pressure disappeared without a trace. This also meant that this forbidden character could spy on them. He knew that the human Tao master was here and naturally hid himself. Yi Xian did not know why this mysterious forbidden character would do this. With his forbidden realm, there was no need for him to be afraid of the human Tao master. To put it bluntly, it was not difficult for a forbidden character to kill an eternal powerhouse. What was he hiding from? Or was he afraid of something? What could make a forbidden character hide from? These were all suspicious points. Although Yi Xian could not guess, he knew that this mysterious forbidden character was still alive and must be on that ancient starry sky path. Little brother Yi, I know you're hiding something from me, but I've already promised you. As long as you're willing to help me pass the tribulation, I can promise you one thing. Just say it, the human Tao master said softly. All right, I want you to accompany me on an ancient starry sky path. Whether we can find this person or not, as long as you accompany me to the end of this path, I'll agree to lend you my body when we come out, Yi Xian said in a low voice. All right. The human Tao master nodded slowly and agreed without hesitation. The starry sky path was continuous as they traveled through it. Yi Xian was in front and the human Tao master was behind. The two of them stepped onto the starry sky path one after another and returned to where they came from. So, Yi Xian returned to the intersection of the starry sky path. The ancient starry sky path was on the left and the ancestral land of the cosmic beasts was on the right. This time, Yi Xian was going on the path given to him by the eternal shadow. However, this time, Yi Xian was not alone. He had an eternal powerhouse by his side. Yi Xian was extremely confident in his safety as he stepped onto this ancient starry sky path. What a terrifying shattered stars land! With just a glance, the human Tao master said solemnly, Her beautiful eyes began to destroy the laws around her. She stared at the ancient starry sky path that Yi Xian was about to take. Her gaze was heavy. Shattered Stars Land? Yi Xian asked. The human Tao master regained her composure and pointed at the ancient starry sky path. Look, this ancient starry sky path is shattered and formless. There are no laws within and black holes are everywhere. Anyone below the level of an eternal powerhouse will never be able to walk out alive. There are many such death traps in the Chaosverse, the human Tao Lord explained. I call them the fragmentary stars. Before I achieved my Tao, I've seen many similar fragmentary stars. If you personally enter such a place, it will indeed be very difficult to come out alive. How confident are you? Yi Xian had long known that this ancient starry sky path was dangerous. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked the human Tao master to accompany him. He asked the question he was most concerned about. Little brother Yi, don't worry. Although the Shattered Stars Land is terrifying, with me by your side, this ancient path is completely safe. Even if the entire Shattered Stars Land collapses, I can still take you away. At this moment, the human Tao master's dignified and beautiful face had a supreme bearing. Her entire body exuded a supreme aura that matched Yi Xian's state of mind. This was her true supreme bearing. Compared to her usual tranquility, she was a completely different person. Let's go. Yi Xian calmed himself down and stepped into the ancient starry sky path. The human Tao master unleashed the power of karma and enveloped Yi Xian. The two of them entered the ancient starry sky path at almost the same time. The ancient starry sky path's laws collapsed. Black cracks streaked across the starry sky, and terrifying explosions abruptly rang out. The shattered star path twisted and turned, and cracks could be seen everywhere. Boom! The sky was filled with red clouds as karma opened a path. The human Tao master strode forward while Yi Xian followed closely behind her. His entire body was enveloped in the power of karma. It had to be said that Yi Xian felt ashamed. Although the human Tao master was the strongest throughout the ages, in Yi Xian's eyes, she was still a woman. To have a woman protect him was indeed a bit awkward. However, Yi Xian had truly witnessed the terror of the human Tao master. He truly understood what it meant to open a path when you meet a mountain and build a bridge when you meet a river. Whether it was the terrifying chaos black hole, the broken starry sky path, or the destructive power that erupted from the collapse of the laws, Yi Xian's path was unimpeded under the protection of the human Tao master. How strong were the strongest throughout the ages? Yi Xian didn't know this concept, but he could sense that the human Tao master was very strong. She was stronger than the murderous, undying Heaven Lord. Regardless of whether it was in terms of cultivation or what the human Tao master called the spirit, this female supreme expert had completely surpassed the undying Heaven Lord. If Yi Xian had to make a comparison, the human Tao master was completely on par with the three strongest existences in the chaos. To a certain extent, she could be called the number one strongest. Of course, Yi Xian's guess wasn't absolute. Chaos, destiny, and spacetime. The three strongest existences could control the three great rivers. If they really fought, Yi Xian didn't know if the human Tao master would be a match for them. However, in terms of cultivation and state of mind, Yi Xian believed that the human Tao master was truly number one. Otherwise, she wouldn't have needed to undergo the taboo tribulation. Little brother Yi, you need to follow me closely. There's danger ahead. As the two of them gradually ventured deeper into the starry sky path, the human Tao master came to a stop. Even her gentle voice became heavy. This startled Yi Xian. For the human Tao master to warn them so cautiously, it was clear that even she was wary of the dangers ahead. Yi Xian immediately pushed his cultivation to the limit, deeply afraid that they would fall into danger. Boom! A blinding light erupted from the broken starry sky path ahead. A terrifying chaos storm swept towards the two of them, accompanied by terrifying law fragments that filled the sky. Karma, heaven and earth, all things melt. At this moment, the human Tao master made a powerful move. Her originally dignified and graceful face was extremely solemn, and a supreme might of the ages erupted from her. She waved her jade-like hands, stirring up the shattered stars. 3,000 strands of black hair danced wildly behind her. The chaos storm, mixed with countless law fragments, swept towards them, but she used the terrifying power of karma to keep it at bay. "Follow me." Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, Yi Xian was truly moved. The human Tao master was leading him forward. Although she was a woman, the strength and sharpness she displayed shocked him. Unmoving as a mountain, shocking the heavens with a single move. This phrase fully illustrated just how terrifying the human Tao master was. Chapter 1561. Perhaps Yi Xian might not have been able to tell how strong the human Tao master was among the top 10 most powerful beings, but at this moment he could feel that this was how an ultimate being should be. Compared to her, the undying Heaven Lord and the others were a level lower. Boom. Every step was a step away from the heavens and earth. Yi Xian watched the human Tao master attack with his own eyes. She did not have any divine weapon in her hands, only a pair of jade-like hands. Each time she slapped out, the law fragments in the chaos windstorm would be shattered. No matter how the storm attacked, under the protection of the human Tao master, Yi Xian wasn't affected at all. However, Yi Xian could sense that as long as he walked out of the human Tao master's side, the chaos windstorm outside would instantly turn him into ashes. This journey took 10 years. The human Tao master brought Yi Xian through the chaos windstorm for a full 10 years. The dangers they encountered along the way shocked Yi Xian. 10 years later, under the protection of the human Tao master, the two of them walked out of the chaos windstorm. The power of karma that lingered around them faded away. "Are you all right?" Yi Xian looked at the human Tao Lord in front of him and noticed that the other party's face was slightly pale. It was obvious that even though the human Tao Lord was the strongest of all time, he had still suffered a great deal of damage during these 10 years of travel. "Don't worry, little brother Yi. This is what I promised you. I will definitely help you achieve it," the human Tao master said calmly with a gentle smile on her face. What was an ultimate being? At this moment, Yi Xian was certain that only the human Tao master was worthy of the title of ultimate being. It was not only because she had helped him, but also because of the promise she had made to him. This was not the first time Yi Xian had done business with an ultimate being, the Lord of all spirits and the heaven-devouring demon lord. He had done business with them before. However, in terms of bearing, they were too petty and could not be compared to the human Tao master at all. "Regardless of whether or not I can find this person, I will definitely do what I promised to borrow your physical body to pass through the tribulation." Yi Xian only said this one sentence because it was enough. This was also the favor he wanted to repay the Lord of Human Tao, which was also the so-called karma. "I believe in little brother Yi, and I believe in karma even more. Hence, there is no need for any more words between us." The human Tao master smiled warmly. "You only know that the person I'm looking for is the ancestor of the starry sky behemoths, but don't you want to know the identity of the person I'm looking for?" Yi Xian asked in a deep voice. Chapter 1562. Withered Bones. A human skeleton filled with the aura of time. This skeleton was old and decayed. Its bones were filled with the smell of decay. Many of the bones looked damaged, but in this forbidden land where nothing existed, it was still in perfect condition. "Dead. He's dead." Yi Xian's eyes were bloodshot as he stared at the skeleton, unable to believe his eyes. Boom. Yi Xian took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of the skeleton. He stared at the skeleton, and his entire person was extremely ruthless. He couldn't accept this fact at all. Sigh. The human Tao master walked over with a long sigh. "Why is it like this?" Yi Xian growled hatefully. Yi Xian spent so much effort to come here, but instead of seeing the forbidden character, all he saw was a skeleton. All his hopes were dashed, and this was a heavy blow to Yi Xian. Karma is preordained by the heavens. This is fate. The human Tao master consoled. "I don't believe in fate." Boom. Yi Xian's body exploded with rage, and his eyes were as red as blood. If he believed in fate, he wouldn't have made it this far. He's still alive. He must be alive. He's right here. There's no mistake. Yi Xian's entire body was in a berserk state as he continuously circled around the skeleton. His eyes were extremely fierce as malicious lights flickered within them. It was as if something terrifying was brewing in his heart. Little brother Yi, calm down. Whether this forbidden character is this skeleton or not, we've reached the end. Even if you act rashly, you won't be able to solve the problem. The human Tao master consoled. Act rashly? Yi Xian smiled, but his smile was very cold, and his eyes were terrifyingly sinister. The human Tao master still didn't understand Yi Xian. She only thought that Yi Xian was in a frenzy, but she didn't know that Yi Xian had already made up his mind to do something crazy. Little brother Yi, I know you want to save Lu Bai. Although I can't save him now, if I can pass the taboo tribulation, there might still be a glimmer of hope, the human Tao master said calmly. I can't wait. Yi Xian slowly shook his head. He stared at the skeleton in front of him, a trace of madness flashing through his eyes. Although what the human Tao master said made sense, there was an element of gamble involved. If the human Tao master failed to pass the tribulation, he still wouldn't be able to save Lu Bai. Even if the human Tao master became a taboo character, there was only a sliver of hope that he could save Lu Bai. After all, even Ancient Shadow had said that he could not save Lu Bai. Therefore, Yi Xian placed all his hopes on this, and he already had a plan in mind. Kill! Boom! Under the astonished gaze of the human Tao master, Yi Xian suddenly opened the two heavenly gates. A mysterious brilliance flickered on his fists. This was the profundity of reincarnation, and it was also the eternal reincarnation fist that he cultivated. Yi Xian was taking a gamble. He was betting that this skeleton was just an illusion and that this mysterious taboo character was still alive. Since even Ancient Shadow coveted his profundity of reincarnation, this proved that this taboo character was very concerned about it. His punch was to force this taboo character to show himself. Rumble. Eternal reincarnation, chaos annihilation. The eternal reincarnation fist was too terrifying. Even the human Tao master was shocked, and a sense of dread rose in his heart. Sigh. Suddenly, an ancient sigh sounded out. What happened next caused Yi Xian and the human Tao master to be horrified on the spot. Yi Xian's ancient reincarnation fist was blocked as well. Crack. The lifeless skeleton moved. He slowly raised his arm to block Yi Xian's punch, and a ray of death began to revolve around the skeleton. What happened next caused the human Tao master and Yi Xian to be even more horrified. It even caused the human Tao master to grab Yi Xian and explosively retreat. Boom! Death light lingered in the air as the forbidden power erupted from the skeleton. He slowly stood up from his cross-legged position. His mottled and broken bones began to grow flesh and blood until he turned into a real human. Neither alive nor dead, undefiled and indestructible, all things fall, reincarnation resurrection. The taboo covered the sky and the ray of death lingered. A skeleton that couldn't be any more dead actually grew flesh and blood and came back to life. Although Yi Xian and the human Tao master couldn't see this person's appearance, just the aura he released made their scalps go numb. Come. This was a true taboo character. He was mysterious and terrifying, profound and ancient. He stretched out his 5 fingers towards the two of them and instantly pulled them in front of him. Karma, heaven and earth. Yi Xian couldn't resist, but that didn't mean the human Tao master couldn't. At this moment, she was peerlessly beautiful. Her fine black hair fluttered wildly, and her body erupted with resplendent red light. The terrifying power of karma blasted toward this taboo character. Great Tao of karma. Not bad, not bad. Bang. The taboo finger could destroy all things. The so-called power of karma was shattered by the finger, and the human Tao master groaned. She was directly suppressed, and terrifying taboo chains wrapped around her. Little girl, you're extremely talented. To be able to comprehend the great Tao of karma and even peek into the taboo realm, you've truly impressed me. The mysterious taboo character praised, and he sincerely admired the human Tao master. Who are you? The human Tao master's beautiful face was extremely grim. She had never felt so powerless before. Just a single attack could suppress her. Was this the power of a taboo character? What a pity. Although you've peeked into the taboo realm, it's extremely difficult for you to step into it. Chapter 1563. Haha. The myriad beast ancestor laughed maniacally, as if he'd heard the funniest joke in the world. Your Tao of reincarnation is indeed tempting, but it's not enough for me to save him. Also, I can tell you one thing. The old man who sent you to me can actually save your friend, the myriad beast ancestor said coldly. Boom. Yi Xian was stunned by the myriad beast ancestor's words. He'd long suspected that Aeon Shadow could save Lu Bai, but he hadn't dared to confirm his suspicions. Now that the myriad beast ancestor had confirmed it, Yi Xian finally understood that it wasn't that Aeon Shadow couldn't save Lu Bai, but that he'd been using him all along. However, none of that mattered anymore. Yi Xian only knew that the person standing in front of him could save Lu Bai. No matter what price he had to pay, he would accept it. Senior, what will it take for you to save him? Yi Xian quickly calmed himself down and asked. It's not that I don't want to save him, but if I do, I'll incur the wrath of another taboo. Do you know how terrifying it is to incur the wrath of a taboo? The myriad beast ancestor said coldly. Forbidden enmity? Yi Xian's expression froze. The so-called taboo isn't tolerated by the Chaosverse. Everyone is waiting to transcend, and each of them has their own means to plot against the primordial chaos. If I save your friend, it'll be the same as destroying the other taboo's plans. The myriad beast ancestor paused for a moment, then looked at Yi Xian and said, Now you understand why he didn't save my friend when I told you to. Instead, he guided you here. Silence, silence, a deathly silence. Yi Xian was completely silent. His brows were lowered, and no one knew what he was thinking. However, if one looked closely, they'd discover that Yi Xian's lowered eyes were sinister and terrifying. A chess piece. They're all toying with me like I'm a chess piece. Weakness is a sin, and weakness is a chess piece. Yi Xian's heart was roaring madly, but he appeared unusually calm, so calm that it was somewhat terrifying. Calm down. I must remain calm. Yi Xian forcibly suppressed his restless emotions. He slowly lifted his eyes to look at the ancestor of all beasts and said in a calm voice, I have always believed in one sentence. All the hustle and bustle of the world is for profit. As long as the price is paid, anything can be solved. Well said. The myriad beast ancestor held his breath, then slowly nodded. Although you are his chess piece, I can see that you are unwilling to accept this. Since he dares to send you here, I dare to accept everything. Didn't you want to save your friend? As long as you promise me one thing, I will personally save him, the myriad beast's ancestor said solemnly. What is it? Yi Xian knew that what the beast ancestor was going to say was extremely terrifying. It might even cause him to fall, but Yi Xian was already prepared for the worst. I want you to break the curse on my race and truly free the astral beasts. The ancestor of all beasts looked at Yi Xian solemnly. Curse. Yi Xian was bewildered. He didn't quite understand what the ancestor of all beasts was saying. Listen to this ancestor speak slowly. The ancestor of all beasts slowly recounted the history of the astral beasts, and Yi Xian and the human Tao master listened attentively. The astral beasts, a race cursed by the Chaosverse. They had lived with the curse since the birth of the Chaosverse. Billions of their members were ignorant of spiritual intelligence, and only a very small number of beast kings had been born with it. And this was the result of the ancestor of all beasts using a taboo power. Otherwise, the astral beasts would only know how to kill like wild beasts and be reduced to lowly creatures. The Chaosverse had cursed him because he had become a taboo character, implicating the entire astral beasts. He could be said to be the greatest sinner of the astral beasts. This was an eternal pain in the ancestor of all beasts' heart, but he had no way of breaking the curse. Yi Xian frowned as he listened to the ancestor of all beasts. If even you can't break the curse, what can I do to help you? You're different. The ancestor of all beasts' scarlet eyes flashed fiercely. He looked at Yi Xian with greed as if he were looking at a peerless treasure. This caused Yi Xian's heart to tremble violently. He knew that the main event was about to begin. You possess the mysteries of reincarnation. Although it's not a taboo, it's not under the Chaosverse's control. This is the key to breaking the curse, the ancestor of all beasts said excitedly. Tell me, What do you want me to do? Yi Xian's expression was calm. He was prepared for the worst. I have a taboo secret art that can transfer the curse of my race to you. As long as you can break the curse, my race will be freed, the ancestor of all beasts said solemnly. The myriad beast ancestors spoke solemnly. He paused for a moment before continuing. However, I must remind you that once the curse of my race is transferred to you, if you are unable to break the curse, not only will my race be unable to be freed, you will also suffer the curse of the primal chaos and lose your consciousness forever. This is more terrifying than death. Moreover, if you fail, I won't save your friends. You must consider this carefully. No, you can't agree to this. The human Tao master suddenly shouted, her beautiful eyes flashing with cold light. Although she wasn't a taboo character like the ancestor of all beasts, she was one of the strongest experts in the world. She knew all too well what the curse of primordial chaos was. How could it be as simple as the ancestor of all beasts made it sound? Alright, I promise you. Yi Xian slowly let out a breath of turbid air as his gaze became extremely resolute. Are you crazy? You'll die. Chapter 1564. The primal chaos curse will follow you through the ages. It will never be extinguished. This sentence was as heavy as the firmament. Yi Xian almost couldn't breathe under the pressure. He knew that he couldn't bear it, but he had to bear it. Yi Xian smiled. His smile was very mysterious and also very lonely. Past, present, and future. Yi Xian's hair fluttered in the forbidden land. His eyes became abnormally deep. He couldn't bear the primal chaos curse in this life, but could he break it in the future? The forbidden land concealed the secrets of heaven. It was as if the heavens had given Yi Xian a chance for his future self to appear. In this forbidden land, the secrets of heaven didn't exist. The rules didn't appear here. He could use his future self. When his future self merged with his current self, there might be a chance for him to break the primal chaos curse. Bear the future, look back on the past, and live in the present. Yi Xian whispered in loneliness. His figure gradually became blurry. It was as if he was starting to become unreal. Transform the future. Boom. In the eternal world, time surged. A vast and lonely voice came from Yi Xian's mouth. The entire forbidden land trembled. It was as if there was a heavenly river surging from outside the primal chaos. Time surged. Time passed quickly. Eternity was boundless. Heaven and earth were long. A turbid river appeared in the forbidden land. The surging waves of time rumbled. An illusory figure condensed in the long river of time. This was an illusory period of time. It was also an illusory future. In this long river of time, his footprints were left behind. Or rather, Yi Xian's footprints. He was Yi Xian. He wasn't Yi Xian. The boundaries were unclear. Time was unknown. Whether it was Zhuangzhou dreaming of a butterfly or a butterfly dreaming of Zhuangzhou, in this forbidden land, he transformed the future into the true forbidden power. The long river of time? Forbidden heavenly law? The human Tao master and myriad beast ancestor exclaimed. They didn't find it strange that Yi Xian could summon the river of time. What truly shocked the two of them was that this was a forbidden danger zone. The river of time shouldn't appear here. Moreover, the illusory figure condensed in the long river of time actually radiated an aura that was extremely similar to Yi Xian's. It was just that this illusory figure was too illusory, but even the ancestor of all beasts was extremely shocked. Forbidden heavenly technique. He's using a forbidden heavenly technique. The myriad beast ancestor had keen eyesight. He was a true taboo character. So when he saw Yi Xian use his future transformation, his heart was violently shaken. Perhaps the human Tao master did not understand what a taboo heavenly law was, because she had not entered the taboo realm. However, the ancestor of all beasts was a taboo character. He knew very well how terrifying the taboo heavenly law was. However, he could only suppress this feeling because he was about to make his move. Chaos heaven and earth. Grafting flowers on trees. Boom. The ancestor of all beasts stretched out his palm and fingers, outlining mysterious taboo runes. These runes glowed terrifyingly and then formed a black door. As the ancestor of all beasts roared, the black door rumbled open. Transfer! Boom! At the same time, in the outside world, billions of giant astral beasts roared at the sky. Billions of black runes shot out from these giant astral beast bodies and then gathered together to form a long black river that disappeared with a loud bang. Forbidden land. The black heavenly gate opened wide and the terrifying black river flowed down. The densely packed black runes were too terrifying. They all surged into Yi Xian's head and drowned him in an instant. You must make it through. The next moment, the master of human Tao reprimanded. She clenched her fists tightly and her beautiful and dignified face was filled with solemnity. Whether it was for Yi Xian himself or for her to overcome the taboo tribulation, the master of human Tao did not want to see Yi Xian die here. However, she was still in despair because the primal chaos curse was too terrifying. This was the curse of billions of giant astral beasts. At this moment, all of them were gathered on Yi Xian alone. Even a taboo figure might not be able to withstand it, let alone the strongest throughout history. If a taboo figure could withstand the curse of billions of giant astral beasts, the ancestor of all beasts would have done so long ago. There was no need for him to make this deal with Yi Xian. It turned out that the direction of my cultivation had always been wrong. The so-called 9 great heavenly gates was simply a lie. The human Tao master's heart was filled with bitterness, but it was already too late. If she had known about this secret before she had achieved her Tao, she might have become a taboo character long ago. But she wasn't a taboo character, but another realm. Perhaps no one had ever reached this realm, and even taboo characters had gone astray. Rumble. Just as the two of them were in shock, the 12 heavenly gates underwent another terrifying change. This time, the human Tao Lord and the All Beasts ancestor were completely speechless. They felt even more terrified. He transforms the future, the heavenly gates unite, reincarnation reappears, and chaos is destroyed. Yi Xian's voice was no longer filled with pain, but with a sense of eternal sorrow. His body was glowing. This was the light of reincarnation. His figure was turning blurry as the 12 heavenly gates rotated terrifyingly and started to merge together. Then, an extremely terrifying light of reincarnation erupted, drowning Yi Xian entirely. The gates of reincarnation? The ancestor of all beasts roared in shock as he retreated in fear. However, in the next moment, he suddenly realized that this wasn't the real gate of reincarnation, but something that Yi Xian had deduced that contained the power of reincarnation. Taboo heavenly technique? He's perfecting the taboo heavenly technique? Opening the 12 heavenly gates and using the taboo heavenly technique? Who is he? Who the hell is he? The All Beasts ancestor trembled and growled. He suddenly realized that something was very wrong. Everyone had underestimated Yi Xian. Not only was he not controlled by the Chaos Verse, but he also possessed something that even taboo characters like them couldn't understand. Whose reincarnation are you? Speak. Whose reincarnation are you? At this moment, the ancestor of all beasts was crazily roaring, questioning Yi Xian as if he'd gone mad. It was as if he'd already forgotten that Yi Xian was breaking the primal chaos curse. His entire body was in a berserk state, and his eyes revealed an extremely terrifying killing intent. Boom! Forbidden power and deathly light swirled around him. The All Beasts ancestor's eyes were scarlet and terrifying. He raised his beast claw and swiped it at Yi Xian, his crazed voice causing one's scalp to go numb. There's no way a mortal can reach this step. I don't care who you reincarnated from, nor do I care if you're a supreme existence from the previous Chaos Verse. I'm going to kill you today. The All Beasts ancestor seemed to have lost his mind. His forbidden power bloomed with terrifying intensity, filling the forbidden land with an aura of death and desolation. His murderous intent locked onto Yi Xian. The human Tao Lord instantly came to her senses and stood in front of Yi Xian, the power of karma overflowing. On the other side, the human Tao master comforted Yi Xian because she could sense that Yi Xian's aura was extremely unstable. He had been forcefully suppressing his emotions. I was too worried. With the myriad beast ancestor taking action, I'm sure Brother White Robe will be fine. Yi Xian let out a long sigh, trying to calm himself down. He had already invited a forbidden figure, so there would be no more mistakes. Lu Bai would definitely be able to wake up. Time passed little by little. The black jade platform was completely covered by the forbidden sutras. Terrifying rays of death drifted within, faintly reflecting the figures of the ancestor of all beasts and Lu Bai. 7 days later. Impossible, how is this possible? Boom. There was a loud explosion, and an extremely terrifying scene occurred. The black jade platform exploded, and the ancestor of all beasts was sent flying as if he had been hit by some extremely terrifying force. The myriad beast's ancestor's figure rapidly retreated, his feet leaving terrifying grooves in the ground. The myriad beast's ancestor's ragged breaths constantly rang out from his mouth, his scarlet and ferocious eyes flashing with shock. On the other side, Lu Bai was surrounded by death rays, and a mysterious symbol throbbed violently on his forehead. The most shocking thing was that heavenly gates appeared behind Lu Bai, and there were 12 of them. It was exactly the same as Yi Xian's situation. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? The ancestor of all beasts trembled and growled. He stared fixedly at Lu Bai, and an unprecedented fear rose in his heart. Yi Xian alone was already enough to make him feel apprehensive. Now that Lu Bai had appeared, the impact on the ancestor of all beasts was unimaginable. 12 heavenly gates, forbidden incarnation, eternal scheming, revealed in this world? The ancestor of all beasts muttered in shock. Even as a forbidden figure, he was trembling all over. Could it be that the gate of reincarnation is really going to open in this chaotic universe, and they are all going to return from their slumber? The ancestor of all beasts trembled and murmured, and his aura was extremely chaotic. Tell me, what's going on? Suddenly, Yi Xian appeared beside the ancestor of all beasts without anyone noticing. His expression was extremely sinister, and his eyes had turned a terrifying scarlet. The result he least wanted to see had come to pass. He's not a taboo. The ancestor of all beasts gradually calmed down, but his voice was extremely heavy and bitter. Because he himself is a taboo. What did you say? Yi Xian's eyes grew even redder, and strands of terrifying silk flowed out of his body. The space around him was faintly exploding, and 3,000 strands of black silk danced in the wind. It was as if he was about to fall into a demonic state. Little brother Yi, calm down. Chapter 1568. Did you see that? Although his taboo power prevented you from reaching him, it didn't cause any harm to you. Therefore, this taboo power was produced by him and not planted by a taboo character. He is a taboo character himself and is awakening the memories and power of his past life. The ancestor of beasts explained in a timely manner. Past life? This life? Awakening? Yi Xian smiled sadly and knelt on the ground powerlessly. He didn't believe in the so-called past life at all. He only believed that he was invincible in this world and that he had feelings for Lu Bai. I'm saying if he really is a taboo character, and he's awakening from his deep slumber, then the day he wakes up, will he be Lu Bai, or the taboo character you mentioned? Yi Xian's eyes drooped, but his voice was indescribably lonely and sorrowful. This? The ancestor of beasts was stunned speechless. He didn't know how to answer Yi Xian's question. Maybe he's still him, maybe he's not him anymore, but if he awakens the memories of his past life, it's very likely that he'll become another person. The ancestor of beasts didn't continue speaking because he sensed that something was extremely wrong with Yi Xian. An aura that shocked him overflowed from Yi Xian's body. Even the ancestor of beasts was affected by this aura. This is? The ancestor of beasts' eyes trembled because an extremely strange change was happening to Yi Xian. Yi Xian's forehead, a symbol. A mysterious symbol was throbbing on Yi Xian's forehead. This mysterious symbol was glowing. This wasn't the light of reincarnation, but a light that even the ancestor of beasts couldn't understand. The ancestor of beasts finally understood the source of his trembling. It was all caused by the mysterious symbol on Yi Xian's forehead. What is this? The ancestor of beasts whispered in a trembling voice. As a taboo character, His vision was extremely broad, but he couldn't see the origin of this mysterious symbol. Yi Xian sat lifelessly on the ground. The mysterious symbol on his forehead pulsated continuously, emitting a rhythmic sound. Like the morning bell and evening drum, the sound of an ancient god, every time the mysterious symbol pulsed, both the Lord of Human Tao and the myriad beast ancestor felt their nerves tighten. It was as if an unknown terror was attacking them, and a feeling of nervousness grew in their hearts. Boom! Suddenly, the mysterious symbol shone brightly. The intense light was so dazzling that people couldn't open their eyes. Yi Xian's entire body was covered by this light. What happened? The Human Tao Master raised her jade-like hands and unleashed the power of karma. However, she was unable to disperse the light on Yi Xian's body. Don't touch him, the myriad beast ancestor warned coldly. Boom! On the other side, the sleeping Lu Bai was also undergoing a shocking change. A symbol also appeared on his forehead and was pulsating violently. The heavenly voice of the great Tao shook the ages. The taboo energy that filled the air around Lu Bai dissipated. Only the light emitted by Yi Xian and Lu Bai were connected. Woo-woo. Then, something astonishing happened. A white mist appeared out of nowhere, accompanied by the strange sound of wind. It completely covered the heavenly palace. Even the Lord of Human Tao and the myriad beast ancestor couldn't see Yi Xian and Lu Bai clearly. Yi Xian felt like he was dreaming. This was an eternal dream that he would never be able to wake up from. He didn't know what he was dreaming of. He only knew that he was extremely lonely in this dream. He couldn't see a single living being anywhere in the world. Brother Yi. A long sigh sounded in Yi Xian's ears, accompanied by an extremely familiar and intimate aura. Yi Xian struggled to open his eyes. Memories surged into his mind, and his eyes gradually became clear. He also saw the familiar face in front of him. Brother Bai? Lu Bai was dressed in white and looked gentle and refined. He was as handsome as jade as before, and he had a warm smile on his face as he looked at Yi Xian. Brother Yi, I didn't think that we would meet in a dream. Lu Bai sighed. Although his smile was tranquil, it contained a kind of sadness. It was a sadness that Yi Xian had never seen before. A dream? Yi Xian muttered in shock. He finally realized that he and Lu Bai were in a mist. They were indeed not in the heaven-mending sect. If this is a dream, why does it feel so real? Yi Xian mumbled. Brother Yi, you and I are very close friends. I, Lu Bai, only have you as my confidant. Even if we are not together, our friendship will always be in my heart. Lu Bai sat on the ground. Although his smile didn't fade, it was filled with bitterness. At this moment, Yi Xian didn't care whether he was dreaming or not, but he knew that Lu Bai was real. Although Yi Xian didn't know why he was in a dream with Lu Bai, it didn't matter because Lu Bai was too sad at this moment. It was as if he was bidding farewell to him. Brother Bai, that forbidden character said that you are in a deep sleep and awakening the memories and power of your past life. He said that you might become another person. Brother Yi. Lu Bai slowly shook his head and interrupted Yi Xian. He looked confused and bitter as he said, Actually, before I fell asleep, many strange things happened to me. Many memories that didn't belong to me flashed through my mind. Do you remember the ancient black mirror I gave you? It's called the chaotic mirror of mountains and rivers. It can illuminate any star path in the chaotic universe. This is the only gift I can give you. It will be of great help to you in the future. Brother Yi, no matter who I was in my past life, I, Lu Bai, am only myself in this life. Chapter 1570. The ancestor of all beasts said that now is not the time for me to transcend the taboo tribulation. If I fail, perhaps you will die as well, the Human Tao Master said solemnly. Life and death are fated, riches and honor are up to the heavens. However, I have never believed in fate, Yi Xian said with a lonely smile. All right. The Human Tao Master didn't argue and slowly nodded. However, Yi Xian didn't notice the disappointment that flashed through her eyes. In truth, the Human Tao Master had something she wanted to say to Yi Xian. These words had been buried for a full 5 yuan hui. However, The human Tao master was a very indifferent and casual person. Some words would only cause trouble if spoken, so it was better to keep them buried deep in her heart. Before you transcend the tribulation, I have something to tell you. Yi Xian pondered for a moment before looking up at the human Tao master. Speak, the human Tao master said. Do you remember the taboo character who walked out of the river of time? Yi Xian said softly. He is very mysterious and is even stronger than the ancestor of all beasts. Even now, I don't know his identity, the human Tao master said solemnly. He once said that the taboo realm is not tolerated by the Chaosverse and that the taboo realm is actually the strongest of all time. It's just that they experienced some things that allowed them to enter the taboo realm. However, they are still the strongest of all time. It's just that the taboo character seems to be alive but is actually dead. They are in a state where they are neither alive nor dead. He said that he is a living dead and that the taboo power is surrounded by death energy. Death and desolation are the only colors. Does the heavenly master understand? Yi Xian slowly told the human Tao master everything he knew. Yi Xian didn't want to owe anyone a favor, not even the human Tao master in front of him. He told the human Tao master everything he knew so that the human Tao master could be prepared. Living dead? The taboo realm is also the strongest of all time. The human Tao master's eyes were deep as he carefully pondered Yi Xian's words. It's not just you. The heaven-devouring demon lord obtained the profound mysteries of my calamity immortal technique. He also wants to transform into a taboo character. The Lord of all spirits obtained the heaven-devouring demon art and is also strengthening himself. Every single utmost powerful being of the ancient times has always wanted to step into the taboo calamity. And you are the first one who has found the taboo calamity. There's no way to predict what will happen when you undergo the calamity. Therefore, I've prepared a gift for you. Yi Xian flipped his hand and an ancient black mirror appeared. It was the forbidden item that Lu Bai had given him before he fainted. The Sin character that spanned across the cosmos smashed towards the human Tao Lord, annihilating the universe in all directions. Even the human Tao's sacred palace billions of miles away was reduced to dust by this terrifying aura. If one person commits a crime, 9 generations of his family will be implicated. The human Tao sacred palace was created by the human Tao Lord. Today, she defied the heavens and attempted to enter the forbidden realm. Even the orthodoxy she created was implicated. At this moment, Yi Xian finally understood how the ancestor of all beasts felt back then. It was because he too had entered the forbidden realm that the entire astral beast race was cursed. If the primordial chaos does not tolerate me, then I will break through the primordial chaos. The human Tao Lord roared into the cosmos. She was truly provoked. She only wanted to surpass the Supreme, but this was the result. Although the human Tao Lord stood aloof from worldly affairs, the human Tao's sacred palace was the orthodoxy she created. All of her disciples were now being killed. How could she not be furious? Rumble. The word Sin appeared in the sky and pressed down. An unimaginable will of primordial chaos was contained within. The human Tao Lord's hands stirred up the boundless cosmos. The power of karma swept across the cosmos, transforming into a long river that blasted towards the word Sin. Karma splits the heavens. The human Tao Lord roared. The power of karma slammed into the word Sin like a tidal wave. The red clouds that filled the sky illuminated the cosmos to the extreme. Bam! But in the next moment, the dazzling power of karma dissipated. The terrifying word, Sin, was not affected at all. It continued to press down on the human Tao Lord. Boom! The primordial chaos exploded and the cosmos shattered. Before the human Tao Lord could react, the word, Sin, had already landed on her body, slamming her into the cosmos. What? The human Tao Lord spat out a mouthful of blood. It must have come from Yi Xian's mouth. Because she was borrowing Yi Xian's physical body, Yi Xian was severely injured. Thankfully, the human Tao Lord's cultivation was all gathered on Yi Xian's body. Facing the attack of the word, Sin, the human Tao Lord bore all of the power. Only a trace of it affected Yi Xian. You want to kill me? It's not that simple. The human Tao Lord stabilized her body. Her chanting could be heard throughout the cosmos. The terrifying power of karma surged as an extremely terrifying supreme power erupted. Great Tao of karma, all laws return to one. Boom. The cosmos cracked open as a mysterious aura was born in the cosmos. The Tongtian's earth-shattering red light shone on the human Tao Lord's body. This was the great Tao of karma. It was also the great Tao that the human Tao Lord cultivated. Now that she had used it, it could be said that it had been refined to the extreme. 3,000 great Taos. Karma is one of them. Faint karmic power seeped out from her as her physical body gradually separated from Yi Xian's body. Boom. The next moment, Yi Xian suddenly opened his eyes. He regained control of his body, but the intense pain that came from all over his body made Yi Xian's face contort slightly. Fortunately, the master of human Tao was truly benevolent and righteous. Although she had been struck by 2 calamities in a row, she had actually been the one to bear them. Yi Xian's physical body had only been slightly affected, but he had not suffered any serious injuries. Bang! There was a loud bang as the master of human Tao's slender body crashed onto a star below. Her body was a bloody mess, and large amounts of golden blood had soaked her clothes. Her hair was disheveled, and her face was pale. The master of human Tao no longer had her former majesty. Instead, she looked extremely frail, making one's heart ache for her. Boom! Yi Xian took a step forward and instantly appeared beside the master of human Tao. He looked deeply at the woman who had gone limp on the ground, and a trace of hesitation flashed across his eyes. To leave or not to leave? Boom! 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 In the dark starry sky and the oppressive chaos, the word, "Dang," was taking form in the starry sky. Waves of destructive power were growing, and an overwhelming killing intent locked onto the master of human Tao. At this moment, Yi Xian was faced with a choice. If he did not leave, he would suffer the forbidden calamity together with the master of human Tao. If he chose to leave, the forbidden calamity would not target him, and he would be able to leave safely. According to Yi Xian's past personality, what did the life and death of others have to do with him? Since the master of human Tao could not successfully pass the calamity, Yi Xian could leave. But at this moment, Yi Xian hesitated. It was not that he pitied the master of human Tao, but that if he left, he would feel guilty towards himself. The master of human Tao had once overcome all obstacles for him. Even when she was searching for the ancestor of all beasts, she did not abandon him. Humans were humans because they had their own bottom lines. Yi Xian was cruel and ruthless. He would do anything to achieve his goals, but he had his own bottom line as well. Cripple your own cultivation, and I will take you away. Yi Xian stepped forward to help the master of human Tao up, and spoke solemnly. At this moment, the 3rd calamity was taking form. If the master of human Tao wanted to live, she had to cripple her own cultivation. Only then would the forbidden calamity dissipate. If my cultivation is crippled, I would rather die than live. I am willing to die under this calamity. Leave quickly. The master of human Tao slowly pushed Yi Xian away. Her blood-stained clothes fluttered slightly in the wind, and her messy hair fluttered in the wind. This woman looked as gentle as water, but she was actually very stubborn. She had chosen to pass the forbidden calamity, and she had already thought of the consequences of her failure. Death is inevitable. It may be as light as a feather, but it may be as heavy as a mountain. If I can die under the forbidden calamity, I can die in peace. The master of human Tao smiled gently. You? Yi Xian stared blankly at her. He did not know what to say because his mind was currently trembling violently, all because of this extremely stubborn woman. Go! Boom! The master of human Tao once again released the power of karma, and Yi Xian was sent out of the starry sky. She knew that she would not be able to pass the calamity. The only thing she could do was send Yi Xian away so that Yi Xian would not die here with her. You idiot! Yi Xian suddenly woke up, but he had already appeared billions of miles away. His expression was extremely gloomy, and he could see the master of human Tao brazenly charging towards the 3rd calamity. Boom! The power of karma that filled the sky was so piercing that Yi Xian could not open his eyes. When he activated his Dharma Eye of Destruction to look at the scene of the calamity, all he saw was the word, Dang, dissipating, and the master of human Tao fell from the starry sky, bathed in blood. Bang! At that moment, the heaven calamity transformation was activated, accompanied by the terrifying power of time and space. Yi Xian instantly appeared in front of the master of human Tao and caught her in his hand. He brought the master of human Tao to a withered star, but the woman in his arms was already on the verge of death. She had fainted, and her so-called vitality was completely gone. The boundless secular world. Karma is intertwined. You once said that if I want to achieve the Tao, then I must be heartless. But would I still be me then? The so-called karma, isn't it the same as going from heartless to emotional? The master of human Tao was murmuring in her sleep, and the vitality around her was rapidly dissipating. Clearly, she would soon perish in this starry sky. Chapter 1576. The human Tao master spat out a mouthful of blood and collapsed onto the ground weakly. The cracks on her body were shocking and fresh blood flowed out from every part of her body. She was in an extremely miserable state. The human Tao master had failed her tribulation. It was already a miracle that she was still alive. However, her fate was also extremely tragic. The heavenly heart of chaos had been stripped away by the chaotic universe, and she had been killed by the 4 words tribulation. Her cultivation had fallen to rock bottom. Although she was still at the paramount realm, without the support of the heavenly heart of chaos, she would fall from the paramount realm before long. Are you all right? Yi Xian felt that his question was unnecessary. At this moment, the human Tao master was so severely injured, how could he be fine? Little brother Yi, come here. The human Tao master said weakly and waved at Yi Xian. This also allowed Yi Xian to quickly walk over. Boom! Suddenly, the human Tao master's hand flew up and a weak power of karma seeped out. It caught Yi Xian off guard and pressed down on his head. Take advantage of the fact that I'm still at the paramount realm and I still have a bit of paramount realm cultivation in my body. Absorb as much as you can. The human Tao master's face was pale. What little cultivation she had left in her body was frantically channeled into Yi Xian. She wanted to fulfill Yi Xian's wish. You'll die. Yi Xian's expression changed. The human Tao master was already heavily injured and on the verge of death. If he absorbed what little cultivation she had left, it would only make things worse. Listen to me. Absorb my cultivation quickly. Do you want to be at their mercy forever? The human Tao master scolded coldly. Her dim eyes stared at the 2 forbidden figures from afar. I'm the only one who knows whether or not I'll die. Even if you don't absorb what's left of my supreme cultivation base, it won't be long before it dissipates in my body. The human Tao master urged anxiously. It was just as the human Tao master had said. After losing the heavenly heart of chaos, she was about to fall from the paramount realm. The paramount realm cultivation in her body would also dissipate. Therefore, it was better to let Yi Xian devour it now. It would allow Yi Xian's cultivation to improve greatly. Yi Xian wasn't a hypocrite, and he instantly understood the human Tao master's intentions. This also caused his gaze to harden as he activated his tribulation transcender technique, constantly devouring the supreme power transmitted by the human Tao master. Boom! Yi Xian's body shook as he felt a terrifying and vast force enter his body. Even the tribulation transcender technique became somewhat difficult to swallow. One had to know that this was not the cultivation of a random person, but the cultivation of an ancient expert. Although the human Tao Lord's cultivation had fallen to rock bottom and he had used all his strength to resist the taboo tribulation, what little remained of his supreme cultivation was still an unimaginable treasure to Yi Xian. Blood flowed from the mouth of the human Tao master as her entire body powerlessly collapsed to the ground. The last bit of cultivation in her body had been given to Yi Xian. This could be considered the last thing she could do when she fell from the position of the strongest. Rumble. On the other hand, 2 heavenly gates appeared behind Yi Xian, erupting with an extremely resplendent light. His entire body exuded an extremely terrifying aura that was steadily rising. Even though the human Tao master had given Yi Xian what little cultivation she had left, it was still an extremely terrifying benefit to Yi Xian. Bang! The third heavenly gate began to form behind Yi Xian. Then, it rotated at an extremely fast speed before finally appearing behind Yi Xian. In just an instant, the cultivation that the human Tao master had given Yi Xian allowed him to open the third heavenly gate. But this wasn't the end. The profound meaning of samsara poured down from the third heavenly gate, and a mysterious and unfathomable aura flowed around Yi Xian's body. He was immersed in the epiphany of opening the third heavenly gate. What powerful potential! The human Tao master stared blankly at Yi Xian. Her face was as pale as paper. She was both happy and disappointed at Yi Xian's current improvement. She was disappointed because, logically speaking, although she didn't have much cultivation left, it should have been enough for an early-stage immortal realm cultivator to open 5 heavenly gates in a row. However, Yi Xian had only opened one. She was happy because although Yi Xian had opened 1 heavenly gate, it also proved that he had limitless potential. Boom! The 3 heavenly gates rotated terrifyingly. The power of karma flowed around Yi Xian's body, and the heaven-burying incantations circulated madly within Yi Xian's body. His aura continued to climb. Buzz! Suddenly, the 4th heavenly gate appeared. Yi Xian wanted to use the cultivation that the human Tao master had given him to open the 4th heavenly gate in one go. However, it was a pity that Yi Xian could only condense 1 heavenly gate. He couldn't open the 4th heavenly gate at all. This wasn't just because Yi Xian's cultivation wasn't enough. The more important reason was that the shackles of opening the 4th heavenly gate were extremely strong. It required Yi Xian to generate enough energy to break through them. In the knowledge of the chaotic creatures, the immortal realm was divided into 4 major stages. Stages 1 to 3 were the first stage. Stages 4 to 6 were the second stage. Stages 7 to 9 were the third stage. Merging 9 heavenly gates into one was the 4th stage. It was also known as the complete immortal realm.